Hey everybody, welcome to Stampin Fun Friday. This week I am sharing some ribbon butterfly cards with stamped backgrounds. The first thing we're going to do is create the ribbon butterflies. And how I did that was I just took some scraps of cardstock and applied adhesive over the entire surface. Just taking my tape runner and running the adhesive right along the whole thing. I want to make sure and get really good coverage. And then I've already grabbed a whole bunch of scraps of ribbon from my scrap ribbon jar. You can see they're all different lengths, but none of them are really long enough for any other project. But I just can't stand to part with them, so I keep all of my ribbon scraps in a jar. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of green and black ones that I thought might look nice together, and I'm just simply layering them right over the adhesive on the cardstock there. And you can see I'm just picking and choosing whichever ones, just trying to figure out how I want it to look once I die cut it from the, with the butterfly die on the Sizzix. So I'm just applying these ribbons. And it's really sticky, so I try really hard to get the ribbon nice and straight so that it looks really nice once it's die cut. And you can see some, like this ribbon I just applied here is like a velvet ribbon, so it's really thick. And one of the things I'm going to show you is that even the thicker ribbons you're able to cut if you use a steel rule die, like the Sizzix ones. You might not always get the ribbon on exactly the way you want it the first time, so you can see here I layered this really cute ribbon on and it's buckling a little bit just because that velvet ribbon is so thick, and so I didn't really like the way that looked, so I went ahead and tore those off real quick and I'm going to redo it. And it tore a little bit of my cardstock, but no matter, you won't be able to see it. So I'm just going to layer that a little bit lower. It's just a trial and error type thing, and whatever looks good to your eye. And then I'm just going to lift that up and stick that green ribbon right underneath there. Once I have the ribbon just like I want it, I'm ready to die cut. You could see none of the ends are even or anything like that. You could probably trim it up if you want to, but I don't even bother because it's just going to get die cut anyway. So I'm going to grab the Sizzix, and then you need the regular cutting pads and your die. And like I said or mentioned a little bit earlier, you're going to want to probably use a steel rule die like the Sizzix, simply because they cut through different materials easier. The cookie cutter dies and stuff, like for the Epic 6, they just will not cut through some of these thicker ribbons and you'll get really frustrated. So this technique really works better with the steel rule dies. And then I just layered that right over the butterfly I want to cut out, and I'm running it through my machine once. There's no need to go back and forth or anything like that. You could also use this die with your Epic 6 if you do not have a Sizzix. You could go ahead, this particular Sizzix die cut, the butterfly one, will work with the Epic 6. So that's another option. And there's what the butterfly looks like all cut out. Now I'm ready to create the backgrounds of my cards. And I'm just going to take my clear block and add the Hero Arts remountable rubber cling stamps, and you can see my reflection there. And I'm just going to ink it up with some clear ink. Make sure I got that all covered there. And then what I like to do is just lay it flat, and then I'm going to lay my cardstock right on top of it. And I am using a flat cardstock. This is some of the Hero Arts layering papers. This is the snow color. It's just a plain white, smooth cardstock. I'm going to lay the stamp out of the way, and I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder, and I just keep mine in one of these dishes like this. I've seen it before and it just makes cleanup a lot easier. Other designers do the same thing. I got this idea from Jennifer McGuire, and it just makes the cleanup so much easier. I'm just taking a spoon and sprinkling it right over that ink. And once I have that good and covered, I'm just going to tap off any of the excess there. And then I'm going to heat that up. And it's a little bit hard to see because it's white on white. I'm just using a clear powder because I want the ink to resist the stamped and embossed image. You can see the embossing powder kind of changing color there as I heat it up. So once that's done, I'm ready to give my background some color. And I'm using the Shabby Shutters color of Distress ink. And using a blending tool, I'm going to start off the edge of my project. I have a craft mat underneath me so I don't ruin my work surface. And I'm just going to brush on that ink color in circles. You always want to start off the edge of your project so that you don't get a big blotch of ink. And you can see how that stamped image is resisting the ink. And you just go over it as many times as you want to get the coverage that you like for your project. Go a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. I usually like to do a little darker around the edges. And there's what it looks like. Just gonna add a little bit more there. And then I always like to take a paper towel and just wipe off the surface because where it is embossed holds a little bit of ink and I don't want that to get on anything else. And there's what my butterfly will look like on my card. Finally, the last thing I'm going to stamp are these little labels with my greeting. And this is just a Stampin' Up set, but this little stamp has a punch that matches, so it makes it really easy. So I'm just stamping a couple of these little labels on some leftover cardstock. Kind of did these cards assembly line style, so I did each step. So I'm doing all these at once. And then I'm going to take a Hero Arts Thank You Sayings set, a clear stamp set, and I'm using just a couple of different thank you greetings from there, and I'm going to stamp those with black Memories ink right onto the labels. And then I'm going to take that punch that coordinates and real easy flip it over so I can see where I'm punching, and I'm going to punch out those labels. Really quick and easy. Then I just added some stick pins and a button to the butterfly and some foam adhesive underneath the butterfly wings and a few jewels to some of the cards and adhered the embellished piece to a white note card. Thanks for watching. For more information, please visit my blog at www.nicolemcwork.typepad.com.